Hey guys, how's it going? Hey, we're going to continue on this half-scale VW Manx style Dune Buggy that kind of gathered free and some cheap parts, kind of mix and match, and we are in the process of building it. Quick recap and answer a couple questions from the last video, and then we'll get right back into wrenching. So a couple questions came up. One was the fact it doesn't want to idle. It revs fairly high. I don't know what this engine was off of, but people were saying the governor was coming into effect. The governor is built internally through here, running through this linkage. I backed the idle stop off and held the throttle all the way so the butterfly valve in the carburetor was closed. It was still idling too high. It could have intake leaks. It could have some kind of issue that is causing that problem, but we're gonna kind of step up above that. The governor had nothing to do with it. Like I said, I was holding the throttle all the way closed and it was still revving higher than what it should be. Probably like 1200 RPMs. We should like to try to get it down to about maybe 600 RPMs. Someone was saying about the brake band that I put on there. It's two pieces. Let me see in there. There's like a bell and then there's a hub. And people are saying you have the bell on backwards, that the hub should fit inside the bell. In other words, the bell should be flipped around and fed over it. That does not fit with inside there. And there's only one pattern of bolts that will fit through that. It's, you know, they're cheap eBay China parts. They probably weren't even meant to be together because that hub is the same one that came with the sprocket and seemed like it was more suited to that. So not quite sure what was mixed matched together to sell it, but for, I think it was like 18 bucks for the clutch, the brake rather, that's what you get. Accessing and changing the oil, because I put the muffler in a way, people were concerned that I would not be able to access the fill for the oil, but we do have two of them and the body is going to be removable, so that's not an issue. As far as changing the oil, you're probably going to change the oil once in a lifetime of this thing, and I have a thing that you stick down the drain hole. You actually draw it out instead of pulling the plug out of it, but worst case scenario, we could always just drill a hole right there so the oil would drain out. All right, we're up to speed. Let's get back into it. I ended up going shopping. Waited for some like knockoff motorcycle carbs. We are going to go with one of these styles. I want to say one was a 20 millimeter and one is a 24 millimeter throat, and I was kind of trying to figure out what we should go with size wise. Each carb is like 20 bucks. They are not terribly expensive, but they are what you would expect to find on a motorcycle. So we're going to go with one of those, hopefully. And let's start with pulling this carburetor off. We're going to go see what the bore looks like. I'm going to try to match up wherever that hole is that's in there size wise, and it should be about the same. So looks like we're probably going to go with the smaller one. Let's get this carb off of here. Oh, and before I forget, here's the original brake drum that came off there. It's kind of beat up. This is all one piece, and you can see that that's kind of built the same way. The offset did come from the side of it. It was not in the middle of it. So hopefully we can get that linkage off of there. I think we can, something like that, like that. Get the fuel line. There you go. So we're gonna look at that bore. Probably use that gasket right there for our calibration. It's a little larger than that hole. Let's keep going. I think this piece of plastic is for not having heat transfer. That's a pretty decent size opening that's in there. Show you. Yeah, that's a decent throat. Like I said, this is like a 13 horse. I'm gonna go measure the two of them up. This is what was on there. Oh, actually looks pretty good, because that's going to be the mating surface right there. I think the carb's going to sit right there. And it looks like it lines right up to the bore. I think the other one's going to be too big for us. Yeah, that's actually going to do more damage than good. And sometimes it's good to scale the size of the carburetor to what you're running, so you get like a better idle circuit. You're drawing, it's matched to it. Yeah, this actually looks perfect. What about the whole bolt pattern? It is Let's go find out. Shove it right on there. A little snug. So we'd have to just cut the ears away on the side, and then you should be able to slide on there. Plus that looks like a little offset high, right? Actually, that one does too, though. Good. Let's start doing some whittling. Let's get rid of these studs. I think they're going to be too long for us, and we'll try to get something a little bit shorter. And we're going to make. We're actually going to want to drop it down because the body was really close to up here. Let's see if we can get the carburetor in this area somewhere. So we're going to make we'll make our own intake manifold. We need something with an S in it with roughly about that size bore. Let's go look in our scrap, see what we can find. Maybe like a bicycle handlebar, something like that. There's that pile of junk we pulled apart earlier. Like I said, something that makes an S. That might be something we could use. I think that was the muff, the tailpipe for that. Let's keep looking though. We could always heat something up and bend it too, but let's just see if there's anything that we can repurpose. And I'm thinking I think handlebars are going to be the IDs are going to be too small, but that would be good for the curves. That looks close in size. We got that for handlebars right there. There's 2 sets. Possibility. Yeah, that's gonna take a little work. Let's keep looking. We know that that's there. What about? That's the thing we cut off the four-wheeler, the front end. Might be able to use a section of that. And I'm gonna take a quick peek upstairs. If not, we'll bring that stuff over there. Maybe we'll try working with that. I don't see anything else curvy. That's too small. There's copper. I'll work with copper. All right, bend that in a position too. And they're gonna be a little too fat. Intake for a Volkswagen. Yeah, it's a little too big. Set of handlebars. Bring those down there. And looks like an exhaust pipe from something. Let's go grab that. So somewhere in that pile is an interesting intake manifold just waiting to be born. You start getting those studs out of our way. They're about 9 miles too long. There you go. Didn't put up a fight at all. So Loctite that's in there. All right, let's go see if we can find a set of bolts that are about 1.5 inches long that will thread into that. Thinking through a bolt bin, I found a set of Volkswagen exhaust studs. We'll take the bolts off and we'll thread them in. And we'll work with that. We have that. I'm going to leave that black spacer on there. We'll keep that. And then we'll work with building a flange for the outside and start attaching to it. Go clean these up. Hopefully get the bolts off of there and we'll run them in. Oh, one of them came apart fairly easy. The second one, not so much. Just putting up a fight. So Oh, this fails. Just heat her up. Should do it. I want to go. Just gotta work. I'm gonna heat up a little bit more. Yep. Want to hear an annoying sound? There we go. I'm gonna take those, clean them up on a wire wheel. It'll get rid of the dirt that's in the threads, and it should be able to spin right back on there. Do not pick that nut up when it falls. Just saying. That one's warm. Go clean that up on a wire wheel. Get rid of that crap that's on there. Good as new. I'm going to go throw those two studs in there in that black spacer. And we'll see what can kind of come up for a flange. Probably have to make that. Should be enough room. Let's go throw that. It was like that, right? Put that back on. Yeah, we got plenty of threads to work with. Let's go take the gasket. That's the gasket that was on there. We got to watch so we don't create an intake leak underneath there. There's a channel, a path. Looks like it comes down and wraps around. We got to make sure that is not going to bleed through. But this can be our template for a flange that we're going to go attach to the pipe. So let's go see if we can find ourselves a piece of steel that we could trace over that. Actually, we have one flange. I think that one's going to be too small for us so now, right? Yeah, that's no good. We're going to make a bigger one. The trigger's not working. It wouldn't let off. See what it does. So there's that. Hey Milwaukee, my drill sucks. It lost the variable speed on it a little while ago. It's just either on or off. Oh well. There's that. I'm gonna knock them out. Get 3 holes across the neck, a hole saw. We'll blow out the center, then the bandsaw should take off the outside edge. Let's see how that fits. Suck if it doesn't, huh? Here we go. Good enough room to get a gasket. Where's the gasket that we took out of there? That. Put your nuts on. And I think from here we can start cutting a piece of pipe. Which one did we want to go with? I think it was the smaller of the two, right? Let's go with that one. And let's see if we can kind of kick that one. Get a piece of pipe with some curves on it. We can heat it up and bend it too, but I want to try to get it because the body is like touching the spark plug. So if we can get it right about there, that should give us plenty of room for the cable to come up and out of there and get room for an air cleaner on it. Did that other flange? Can't be that lucky, can we? Yeah, we might be able to use that one. The offset's off a little. Let's if we go to the bottom of those holes, ooh, it's close. You can see a little bit of offsets in there. It might take a minute, make another flange. I may not. I'm not sure yet. Let's get that bolted up and see if we can find a piece of pipe that'll fit inside there. I don't have the hole saws here that I need. I had to go with what I got. You see how much oversized it is, but I'm hoping I can put a piece of pipe on the inside of it. It'll give us a little bit of wiggle room to work with, and then we just weld up around it, grind it flat on the other side. It looks like that piece of exhaust pipe should be just about what we need. What about that one? The one that's got the better bend on it. Yeah, so we could probably cut it here. We'll get the drop down. Maybe we'll split it and rotate this one around. Follow me? Let me get a marker. So say we're to knock off, say about that much, get it right to the curve, and then we'll cut it, say here, and then again here. That'll make it so we'll have, it'll come down, it'll make an S and come back and get our carburetor right around there. Let's go slice up some pieces, see if that works for us. And we got a couple of cutout pieces. Let's see how that concept will go. It had a little bit of one of them has a fatter end on it. Maybe not. We'll fill it with weld. So I'm thinking if we can do like that, right? And then make a flange. Kind of far out though, isn't it? Yeah, it's that air cleaner is going to be behind the tire. Can we it's back pretty far. Can you even see it? Yeah. But at the same token, you can't make it too sharp. You could probably cheat on that one a little. We can grind it. We can grind the faces of them so that we get the correct angle so they fit together. What I probably should have done was taken that pipe and heated it up and bent it. Because I like to get it right about there. I still have more pipe to work with. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll throw some heat on the length that we have here and I'll try to make a drop. Problem is a lot of times you do that, it kinks. I'm gonna pitter and putter away a little bit and I'll bring you back when I have something to tack together. Well, the camera had a meltdown on that shot. Vision, if you will, tacking it there, and saying, now we need to make a flange for right there. Improvise. Let's go get some bolts. Well, I like to see it shorter up, but I think we're going to go try that. The pull start might be a little bit of an issue. What we can do, even with the pull start, we can pull it out like lawnmowers do. What they do is they relocate where the handle stops, so we don't have to have it stop back here. We could have a bracket with it, like even further out by the fiberglass, right there be the stop of it. Then you pull from there. That would get us around the throttle cable. We're also going to have to probably come up with a support also going down to here to help, you know, keep a little bit of a bounce out of it. But before we get into that, let's go buzz it all together. And these are slotted so I can kind of get the carb over the center of that bore. I'm going to take a file, I'll clean up the inside edges and all, and we'll hook fuel to it and see what it does. It may be all for nothing. So I'm going to take a few minutes, we're going to knock that out, we'll put it back on, and we'll give it a shot. You can hardly even tell it's welded together. Let's go pop this carburetor bowl off. Let's take a peek how this is, what kind of shape this is in. Plus we got to take the top off and get a throttle cable on there. That's a cracker. Every time in between, I turn the camera off. A little key fob thing, the little yellow thing hanging from me that everybody asks what it is. That's the remote. It's from stereo, on and off. But YouTube doesn't like that kind. Alright, let's go see how well this is built and make sure everything is kind of tight. Wouldn't be the first time. It's decent. Go crack that top off of there. Woohoo! So this is going to have a barrel slide in it that we need to hook a throttle cable up to. And the way it works, the quick and dirty explanation. So fuel's drawn up through that jet, and then as you pull on your throttle, this needle comes up, allows more fuel to come in, and then the slide comes up and it allows more air to come through. And you can kind of play with the mix in between by doing some different things. You move the needle. We'll have there's a ring, snap ring on this needle. This needle can adjust up and down a little bit to affect the ratio between the two of them. All right, so I'm going to take a throttle cable we have here, and I'm going to weave that into there. You got to take some more of it apart. There's like a little clip and base down there. Basically, this cable kind of goes up. Get the right end? No, you don't. This cable will go up and through some of those components, up through there into the center. There's a little clip that it's got to get kind of locked under with the spring and the cap going through it. And we'll put it all back together. Dump some fuel in it and see what it does. If you can see down the throat of that, the cable on there. And you pull on this end of it. There we go. That works your throttle. Let's go pop her on there. Get some fuel in it. The flange on the other end, I ended up putting an O-ring instead of that gasket that was in there because there was that little weird channel that went around it and exited it out. I was afraid that was going to be an intake leak. Yeah, right in here I put an O-ring on the inside of it. Put some grease on it to like stick it to the pipe and then bolted it up. I'm going to pop that chain off so we're not dealing with a meat grinder. Everything's open, kind of screw around with things without all that stuff spinning. Filling the carb up, it keeps taking fuel, keeps taking some fuel. I don't know if that's stripped out or what it is, but the overflow is pissing itself out. So either the needle seat's not working or they just don't have that valve shut off. I'm gonna let it drain out. What do you think? I'm gonna bet it's the needle and seat. Yeah, that's tight. Well, good thing we took the bowl off and checked it. Let's give it a couple of... See if that'll do. Dump a little bit more fuel in it. See if it just goes right through it. So there's that. Good thing, like I said, good thing I checked it. All right, I'm gonna go pop that bowl back off of there, see what's kind of happening with that float, that it's not seating, and go from there. Let's give her a little purging. Put it back together, try it one more time. If not, we'll maybe have to adjust the float. Because after I was done, I loosened the screw up and the whole float bowl did drain down. So it was filling the float bowl up and overflowing. Round two. You should be able to see it fill up the fuel line and then the fuel level just stop. If not, it's going to come out the overflow again. It should stop in a second. I think we got it. Yeah, the fuel level's staying now. So you can get the air out of there. Burp, I tell you. All right, guys. I'm going to fill that fuel bottle up one more time so that we can kind of continue to backfeed it once it gets fired up. So this has a choke or a enrichment circuit, which would be that being up. Try that, and then I don't know where the idle is. I don't know where anything is. We'll just kind of see what it does, if anything. Coughed. Let's go turn that idle speed up. Where is it? So it'll be the screw for that slide. Reach in there and we'll give it some. We'll get like, I want to try to find the higher side, then we can kind of back off where there's an idle. Let's give it a choke again. There's an air fuel mix screw underneath. I'm gonna go take that, back that out just a little bit. Sounds like a little on the lean side. Plus it doesn't have an air cleaner. Sounds pretty good. I think we're doing much better off with this setup. Where is that? Where is it? Should be there. It's half a turn out. Let's see if that made any difference for us. Choke it again. Warm up for a second. I'm going to run it in until it has an issue. Try and rev it up. I think we used all the fuel up. Smoke them if you got them. Awesome. That worked out pretty good. That should dial us in very nicely. I'm probably going to take some like silicone or something, we'll just kind of go around where the welds are, just in case there's an intake leak on there. But we'll worry about that after the, you know, get an air cleaner and stuff set up. So what do you want to do next? Straight down, see if we have any intake leaks. Yeah, we got an intake leak right up by the very top. That's why it's a little tricky to try to get it to dial in. And I gotta turn a fan on. Woo! Yeah, I got a couple of turns on the nuts and ran them in. It seems like it's much better. Slow it down more. Just slow to go. That's pretty slow. We're into the decompression valve. Here, make a little sound difference. A little bit more. Nice. It'll putt. You gotta adjust the valve sound. That's a little teeny. You gotta remember, it was thrown out, so. That would suck if the engine's no good. I'll have to go find another one that's the same size. Let it run out of gas. It's a clutch. Should be able to stop that. There we go. No. That's the way it sounds. go pop that valve cover off. It's a little clanky. You gotta ground it out and have it die. Do that one. There you go. Let's go pop that valve cover off. Sounds like the bottom end's a little clanky to me though. But I did top it off with oil. It was low. Had oil in it, but it was somewhat low. Let's if you're looking for unusual play, let's go bring the other one up. Yeah, they're kinda. That seems a little, does seem a little excessive. I don't know what to call this for a valve adjustment because I don't really know what the Champion. It's like a Honda clone, so yeah, we're not gonna be able to. I'll try it. I'll see if anything comes up for valve adjustment, but I don't think that's all our noise. I don't think it was more bottom end. Well, it actually showed up for a generator for this engine. Same engine though. 6 and 8 thou. My guess is that's supposed to be cold, but we're gonna do it. We just check see what we got. They said to do it with the valve in the opposite valve in the down position. So that one's collapsed. So the exhaust valve should be 8. I know it's the exhaust valve because the exhaust is there. That's even tighter than 8. But that's tight altogether. Wait a minute. That ain't right. Try that again. That's somewhat loose. Let's try the intake. Should do the intake when the exhaust is all the way down. Intake is sloppy too. I'm going to go tweak those both. I'm going to adjust them and we'll pop the valve cover on, we'll fire it up one more time, give it a listen. It will try changing the oil and see if any metallic bits come out of it. A little loose. When you tighten the jam nut, sometimes it changes on you. You'll think you'll have it, and you tighten the jam nut down. So what you do is you just kind of advance it a little each time. Sneak up on it. Actually feels pretty good. I'd do the same for the exhaust valve. I'm gonna get that plug out of there. Oh, it's not too tight. I put a socket on it. Get a socket on. I can't get a barely. I might be able to get it. Let me grab a socket. Yeah, that's some any sparkles? A little bit. Kind of watery. It's not water. If it was water, it would literally show right up. But let's let that piss out of there. We'll put some fresh stuff in there. Probably like a straight 30 weight or something. Yeah, that ain't looking great. That's why it was in the recycle pile, maybe. It's kind of funny too, because whatever was hooked up on it had a low oil shut-off switch. That's what this thing is. It goes into the side of block when it doesn't see oil pressure. It's supposed to shut itself off. Let it piss. We'll put some oil in it. Try it again. Yeah, you can listen real close. You turn the crank. That's the play in the rod. Either at the piston or the crank. I think it's the crank. It could be where the cam and the crank gear are too. But I think that's a knock from a rod where it meets the crank. Wah, wah, wah. I won't tell if you don't. How about some 2050 mud we'll put in there. Let me slow the slow death down a tad. Let that do its thing. Place at the roll bars right there to hold the filter. Yeah, I'm looking at that oil down below. And that does not look promising. See all that shiny in there? That should not be there. That came from somewhere, and that somewhere is more than likely the bearing surface chews itself apart. Oh, we'll see. We'll fill her up, fire it up again, take a listen. Alright, let's see if a valve adjustment and putting mud in it helped it at all. I'm not giving that much hope, but let's go see. Choke's on. Should go. Gotta rev her up a little bit. Bouncing out. I gotta turn the oil up just a little bit. That's cold again. That would be too low anyway to run it. Let's go with that. Let it warm up a little. It's not terrible, but I do think we need to kind of keep an eye out for another one. We can continue to build it. The thing is, we have to find another engine that's going to be the same as this. The bench is rattling. Now we can turn it down. Get in there. Put our fuel bottle in. There it is. Yeah, it's getting louder. Too bad. It would sound awesome if it wasn't making that noise. As far as the rest of it, it's purring. I pulled out too soon. Didn't like that. All right. Let's fill it up with fuel and listen to it, see if that blew it up or not. That's it. I think that did it. I think she's done. Maybe not. There is a decompression valve like on a cam. The amount of smoke it's pushing out is showing that it's not in very good condition either. Too bad it didn't show up when we were first playing with it. We had a better idea what we had to work with. But sometimes it's just how it goes. Walking the key out. I don't think I have the set screw tight. Alright, I'm going home. We'll pick it back up in the morning. We'll figure out what we're doing. Well, it's the next day and I had a little bit of time to contemplate where we should go with this. And I also kind of looked on the local Facebook to see what would kick up. I think a GX340 Honda engine is what this is cloned after. And I tried finding one of those. There's a couple, you know, not close to me, and they're all $400. They're not cheap. I guess, you know, they may have a decent following to them. But Tractor Supply has the Predator, which I believe is almost the same thing too. And it is, I would say $379 new. Wasn't really looking to have to go buy a motor for it, but I think we're kind of committed because we've already made the base plate to fit, the shell is in the right spot, we made the intake and the exhaust to match up to it, so I think that might be the best bet. But I'm still going to kind of look around and see if anything pops up in the near future, but that may be the way that we have to go. Maybe we'll do a dissect on this engine too to find out kind of what happened. It doesn't look like it has much or any hours on it whatsoever. I don't know if it was new, maybe they tried firing it up with no oil in it. Not sure. The other thing too is I wonder if I can get an electric start for it. That'd be neat if I can get one that has the electric start on it. We can sit in the front and just hit a button and make it go. But I don't know. What's your thoughts? What do you think happened to it? It has a low oil shut off. Maybe it wasn't working. Maybe it works for a second and whoever had it brand new didn't put oil in it and ran it on whatever it was on and it blew up. It just doesn't seem like it has much for hours on it. Let's go look at the original muffler. Let's go see. Like, that doesn't look like much exhaust has been ever run through that. You see a little bit of rust on there. Yeah, I don't think that thing has an hour on it, is my guess. Can't really see the output. There's not even any kind of staining on the screen coming out, the spark arrestor. Yeah, that's what I'm willing to bet. Maybe somebody had it and wasn't paying attention, brought it home, kind of ran it. Maybe it was on a pressure washer or something. Something that had a throttle. We talked about, you know, on the first one, kind of thinking that was a generator, but people pointed out a generator would not have a throttle on it, so it had to be like a log splitter or something that you would alter the speed on it. Either way, she's dead. Oh well. It happens, right? It's life. It's all part of it. So, well, I'm not sure, again, how it's going to work out. We may have to go jump on something else for a little bit, but I do want to continue this. I need it ready by 4th of July. Take a little bit of time. All right, guys, with that, I'm going to go sign off, and it is what it is. Till then, I'll see you later. But on the plus side of things, I did finally get a Kubota engine for the skid steer, and that hopefully is good. We'll find out.